Hello bookworms! Today I'm going to be doing my 10K Q&A. So I have collected questions from my news and stuff video. I asked you guys to leave some in the comments. You guys left a ton of questions and I'm going to try to answer as many as I possibly can. If I don't answer your question, please don't be offended and I will possibly answer it in a future Q&A, but there are only so many that I can answer in this video. Okay, so the first question is from Pucks and Paperbacks and she asks, what is your favorite reading weather? My favorite reading weather is definitely rain. Ever since I was young, I have always loved to read while it's raining. I love like sitting either by a window or just like sitting on my bed and just like hearing like the soft noise of rain hitting the window. It's just like very soothing to me. I've always really enjoyed that. So that's like by far my favorite reading weather. The next question is from Morgan Bell and she asks, what kind of pets do you have? And if not, what kind of pet would you want? So I don't have any pets. I had a very bad experience living with a cat and I had wanted one so bad until then. Now I just like visiting them. But if I could get any pet, I would definitely want a little French bulldog. I've been trying to convince Andrew for so long to get one, but he does not want a pet. So, I mean, where we are now, we can't get one anyway, but I've always wanted just a tiny little French bulldog, and then I would name him Lumiere after the candlestick from Beauty and the Beast, and I think that would be so cute. The next questions are from Jordan Cambridge Taylor, and he asks, what's your favorite classic Disney movie, and what live-action Disney movie are you most looking forward to? So my favorite classic Disney movie would have to be The Little Mermaid, if that counts. Little Mermaid was always my favorite one growing up. I have just always loved Ariel. The live action film that I'm most looking forward to is obviously Beauty and the Beast. I cannot wait for that to come out. Like all of the trailers and stuff for it have just been so beautiful. So like, oh, I need it in my life now. Next, I had a lot of questions here from Crybaby Rachel. One is, are you going to do a bookshelf tour soon? And the answer for that is probably not for a little while. I did my bookshelf tour last May, so I kind of want to wait at least a year between doing bookshelf tours, so we'll see. But also I'm traumatized because it took like literally forever to film and took Andrew forever to edit, so I'm not like really gung-ho about filming another one just yet. She also asks, who are my favorite singer or band? That's really difficult to just pick one. Two of my favorite albums in like sort of recent-ish years that are kind of like my go-tos. I really love the Jenny and Johnny album, Are We Having Fun Yet? And I also really love the Fleet Foxes album, Helplessness Blues. Those are probably like the two that I go to most often when I'm going to listen to music. Have I listened to Melanie Martinez? No, I have not. What is my favorite Hamilton song? Satisfied. My favorite name? I don't think I have a favorite name. And have you watched Coraline by Neil Gaiman? And yes, I have actually read and watched Coraline by Neil Gaiman. I love Neil Gaiman so much, so I've pretty much read almost everything of his. Then I have a question from Miss A 0928. Her questions are, you talk about your job and how you read most of your books on the train and they give you VIP tickets for Universal. How cool. I was wondering what you do for a day job. So I really I don't like talking about what I do online. I like to keep that separate from like BookTube. I commute to work, which is why I'm able to read so much, but I don't really like talking about like work life online. I think it should be like a separate thing. Number 2 is, how did you meet Andrew? So Andrew and I actually met on the internet. And number 3, do you keep in contact with anyone from Fangasm? And no, I really don't. That show was like a long time ago and I feel like all of us have kind of gone our separate ways, and we all, you know, have kind of different interests now. Everyone's pursuing something different and we're all in like totally different parts of the country, so it's really difficult to actively stay in touch if it's not like, you know, if someone's not like one of your best friends. It tends to happen like you just kind of grow apart, so that's kind of what happened there. The next question is from BSmart18, and he asked if I am still involved with anything comic book or graphic novel related because he found me through Think About the Ink, and he also asked how I first got started in comics and did I study English in college. So no, I did not study English in college. I actually studied fashion in college, and I got started in comics just because I liked them, so I just read a lot of them, and then I like would post photos of them online and like all that kind of stuff, and I ended up becoming friends with a lot of the creators of them. So I got to like just go to a bunch of things, and then I did like video unboxings for Midtown Comics for a little while, and I helped host a couple of their book clubs. So that was really fun, but I don't currently really do anything with comics because I had some bad experiences at the end of all of that. So yeah, I kind of keep my distance now. Like I like enjoying them in my own time. The next question is from Lanissa Davis, and she asks, if you could be a Sailor Scout, who would you be and why? I would definitely be Sailor Venus because she is really cool. She has beautiful long blonde hair, and she's very similar to Usagi, but she is less of a crybaby. She's like my favorite Sailor Scout. Then Lexi Holpin asks, what are some of your favorite video games? Well, my all-time favorite video game ever is Donkey Kong Country 2 for Super Nintendo. That was like my childhood. I love that game with all of my heart. And then I also love the Pokemon games. I love the like first and second Mario Party games. I don't really like the current ones. They're like okay, but I really don't like Wiimotes. I really like the older controls, so I'm much better at those. And also just games on my 3DS. I like those a lot better than any of the games on like the current consoles. Then Jess France asks, what is your favorite book you read last year? If you know me, cannot choose a favorite because I read so many good books last year. So I can leave a link down below to the my top 10 fantasy books that I read and my top 10 contemporary books that I read because I couldn't even narrow it down to 10 books. I kind of cheated and made 2 videos of 20 books so that I could cover both genres. Then Colleen Palladino asks, is there a genre that you discovered because of BookTube? Actually, you know what? I think there is. So I actually think that I discovered new adult through BookTube. I didn't realize that there was another like genre of books that was for people between the YA and adult audiences. And I believe that's also because it's relatively new, so I'm not sure if I would have found it on my own, but I definitely didn't know that existed until I started watching BookTube. Gabrielle H asks, what are some of your favorite names, and do you have any tattoos? I do not have any favorite names. I like a lot of names, so again, it's like hard for me to pick favorites. If I were ever to have a child, like I don't know how I would choose one name that they would be stuck with forever. And I have one tattoo, which is right here, and it actually goes back to the Neil Gaiman question. I got an Ankh tattooed on my wrist actually the day before I left to go to LA for Fangasm, because an Ankh is the symbol that Death uses in Neil Gaiman's Sandman comics, and she was like one of my favorite characters, so that's why I got this one. Then Mella Morris asks, how did you come up with your name? And if that question has been asked, who is your favorite villain? So I came up with my username like obviously a long time ago, but I just kind of threw things that I liked together. It sounds like a very like high school answer, but like I liked superheroes, so I took super. I was fascinated by space. Like there was a period in my life where I read so many like Brian Greene and Michio Kaku books, and I just was so like interested in the whole like makeup of our universe. So that's the space part. And then chick because I'm a girl, so I just have been using that for a long time, and I just never changed it to anything that like relates more to like reading. So that's just what I've used since then. Then Alina Reads Books asked, where do you discover most of the books you read from? So that is definitely just online through other book bloggers, through other booktubers. A lot of the times through Goodreads, I'll see like what people are adding to their want to read list, and if it's something that's new that I hadn't heard of, I'll usually click on it, read the synopsis, and decide if it's something that I want to read too. And also sometimes, so I'll get like catalogs from different publishers that are saying what is going to be coming out soon, so I'll also find out from there. And then that's also how a lot of book bloggers and stuff will add books to their want to read list, because they'll see like, oh okay, this is like a new thing that I didn't know about. Then Martin Stru, I can't say her last name, Martin, I'm sorry, but it's Straume, asked, what's your favorite place in New York City? And that is absolutely the Strand bookstore. I could spend days in that place. My favorite book covers of all time. I'm actually probably going to do a video about that at some point. And my favorite Disney princess, which I answered that was, well, actually, so favorite Disney princess as a child was always Ariel, but now as an adult, I'm really loving Rapunzel. I think she has kind of like taken over as my #1 favorite Disney princess, because she's like a combination of Belle and Ariel. Then Lily Grant asked, if you were trapped on an island, what's one book you would want with you? And for that, I would choose Harry Potter, obviously, but if I had to like more specifically choose one book, I would choose Harry Potter and The Prisoner of Azkaban, because that is my favorite in the series. Then JB Bajar asked, what kind of camera are you using? And two other questions that I already answered. But so for the camera that I use, I'm using the Canon Rebel T3i. Then Dodo Pink asked, will you be doing more manga, comic, graphic novel hauls? And the answer to that is yes. I actually have some saved up that I'm waiting to do for a haul, but if I don't buy a ton of them, then I don't want to do one every month just to be like, here's one book that I got. And what is my most anticipated movie and TV show of 2017? So for TV show, it was definitely Riverdale, and so far it is living up to my expectations. I'm really, really loving it. I really love like the whole reinterpretation of Archie. I think it's amazing, and it's probably going to be one of my favorite shows. And then for movie, it would again be the live action version of Beauty and the Beast. I just cannot wait to see that. Then Amber Jano asked, what do you do as a job and what did you study? And I went into the job part already, that I don't really like to talk about that online, but for what did I study? I went to the Fashion Institute of Technology in New York City for college, and I studied fashion. More specifically, my major was fashion merchandising management with a specialization in buying and planning, which is a really long way of saying that I did a lot of math, essentially. It was really just like buying and planning is what you do. Like it would be like buying merchandise for stores, and then planning is deciding how much of each unit is gonna go in which store. And I did that for a little bit after college, but I didn't like it and I switched jobs, and I am a lot happier now. So those are all the questions that I have time to answer today. Thank you so much for submitting your questions, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. And again, just thank you so much for subscribing and for constantly talking to me and making what I do worth it. Like, it's just so much fun to talk to other book lovers. So thank you again, and I will talk to you guys soon in a new video. Bye!